Hello guys and welcome to my round 1 tips video. So this is the first proper tips video. Obviously last week there was only 4 games to tip, so this one we've got the full 9 and it should be good. So last week I got 4 tips for all these goals. I tipped Carlton, which was a really good tip, and GWS, which was a pretty good tip, and some of my Ollie's goals were pretty unexpected, like Brisbane kicking 4 plus first quarter goals, and I said they'll come back. That was a part of my Ollie's call, but I said Carlton would come back and win, so that was a pretty good guess. Anyway, let's move into Thursday night's game. MCG 7:30pm Thursday. It's funny, we're kicking off the season, the traditional season opener, the proper season, with a game between two teams that have already played. So Carlton notable recruits Fantasia and Elijah Hollands. So last week I didn't have Orazio Fantasia there. There's some players that I've added that I feel like I didn't quite find that they had signed for those clubs, but then they played or like it was announced and now I know. And so Carlton had a pretty good game win over Brisbane, should give them quite a bit of confidence, even though it was by 1 point and they were lucky to win. Still, a win's a win. Ladder projection, as I said last week, 1 to 8. I feel like they're a good top 4 chance. Richmond, notable recruits, Jacob Kazicki and Sam Naismith I've added. Ladder projection 10 to 16th. After last week's performance against the Suns, that first half, I definitely think they could finish bottom 4, and I don't see them making finals. Even 10th, I reckon this season would be a decent result for them. So this is kind of a no-brainer. I'm going to tip Carlton by 37 points. And then my Ollie's call is Carlton lead by 15 plus points at quarter time. Next game, MCG 7:40pm Friday night. Notable recruits for Collingwood, we've got Lockie Schultz and Jack Vitale. Ladder projection, I think they'll be top 4, could be 5th, coming off a loss to the Giants. Was away, Giants are looking like top 4, so it wasn't their best game, but they should bounce back this week. Swans, notable recruits, Adams, Grundy, Jordan. Ladder projection, 4 to 10th. I feel like they could finish 4th after their good win over Melbourne, but they could just have an average season, finish 8th. I think in the end I'm going to tip Collingwood by 13 in that one. Makes sense at the MCG where they don't lose very often. Ollie's call is Brodie Grundy has 40 plus hit outs, as in Darcy Cameron is Collingwood's lead ruckman, and Mason Cox, who are both not premier ruckmen. Brodie Grundy, after showing good signs in his first game, I reckon he'll have an amazing game again from Friday night. Moving on, third game in a row at the MCG, 1:45pm Saturday. Hawthorn Essendon notable recruits Zane Dersma, Todd Goldstein, Ben Mackay, Jade Gresham, 4 really good recruits. But I feel like Essendon, they've been trying to do it for a while and it just doesn't work. They try and get all the big name recruits in and not actually build a list worth of talent. So they're probably going to be a bit clunky, and this season will be a development year for them again, which Brad Scott, he's got a couple more years, but if he keeps having years like last year, then his contract is probably a no deal. Ladder projection 7 to 15th. That could sneak into finals, but I reckon they'll be average side. Hawthorn notable recruits Marby Ochal, Jack Ginnivan, Massimo D'Ambrosio and Jack Gunston. Jack Gunston coming back to Hawthorn. Ladder projection 9 to 15. They've got some really good young talent. They've got, what's his name, the Wizard, Nick Watson, got Jack Ginnivan, Marby Ochal, Jack Gunston, their forward line, Luke Bruce. I know a couple of them involved, but they've got some good young talent. And I think this will be a win for Hawthorn. I feel like they've just got the talent that's there. Essendon, more new recruit, so a bit clunky, and Hawthorn will win by 21. Moving on to my list call, Ginnivan and Gunston to combine for 7 goals. I think that forward line's going to be amazing this year. And that'll be the start of it. Moving on to the 4:35 game at NG Stadium, name change from Giant Stadium. Notable recruits for GWS, none. Ladder projection 1 to 10. Coming off an amazing win against Collingwood. They played as well as they could have. You can't critique them on anything. North Melbourne, notable recruits Via Newgon from Richmond, Dylan Stevens from Sydney, and Toby Pink is also delisted, I'm pretty sure, from Sydney and playing for North Melbourne. Later projections 15 to 17. I can't say them finishing below West Coast, but it'll be another development year. They've got McKercher, Dersma. They've got a few pretty high up there draft picks, so they should have some really good young talent. But first round, I'm going to tip GWS by 41 with my Ollie's call that Nick Larkey kicks 4+ goals. Moving on to the next game, St Kilda Geelong at GMHBA 7:30. Notable recruits for Geelong, Emerson Jecker coming from Hawthorn, I'm pretty sure. Ladder projection 6 to 13. For St Kilda, notable recruits Liam Henry, Paddy Dow, Riley Bonner, ladder projection 5 to 12. This will be nearly game of the round. St Kilda looked the better team on paper and were heaps better last season. You wouldn't think they'd decline too much. But it's at GMHBA where Geelong barely lose, so I reckon it's going to be close to game of the round and St Kilda win by 7 with my Oz call that Geelong lead at 3/4 time. Moving on to the next game, Gold Coast Adelaide at People's First Stadium, another name change, 8:10 p.m. Saturday. Notable recruits for Gold Coast, none coming off a good win over Richmond. That third quarter wasn't great, but apart from that, they were sublime. Ladder projection 6 to 10. I think they'll have a pretty good year. The way they've been talked up, they should make finals, but if they don't, it sounds like it'll be a failure, but eventually they've got to start making finals. Otherwise, they've been a pretty mediocre club for the past 5 years where they probably should have made finals. Adelaide, notable recruits, Chris Burgess from Gold Coast, ladder projection 6 to 10, similar to Gold Coast. This will be game of the round. Gold Coast are going to win by 3 in a thriller, with my Ollie's call that Gold Coast led by 20+ points at half time. Moving on to the next game, Melbourne Western Bulldogs. Melbourne notable recruits, Jack Billings, Tom Fulsham, Shane McAdam, who I don't think can play, but Jack Billings will probably play. Low projection 3 to 12. They could have a really good year and prove everyone wrong, or they'll probably have a decent year. They might just miss out on finals. Had a pretty bad first game, lost to 20 points against Sydney. Thorn got dominated by Grundy in the ruck, who was playing VFL for them last year. Western Bulldogs notable recruits Lockie Bramble from Hawthorn, Nick Caulfield from St Kilda and James Harmes from Melbourne. Ladder projection 5 to 13th. I'm going to tip Melbourne by 9. With my Ollie's call that James Harmes, if he plays, has 15+ disposals. West Coast and Port Adelaide, I can't get my words out. Adelaide Oval, 4 p.m. Sunday. Notable recruits for Port Adelaide, I've got Jordan Sweet, Ivan Soldo, Brandon Zirk Thatcher, and Isava Radaglia, so some good tall stocks there. Ladder projection 2 to 10. They had a pretty good season last year, but just had a terrible finals campaign. But this year I reckon they can have a pretty good season. Could drop out of the 8, but I reckon they should be up there. And also, West Coast. They're gonna have a decent year. I reckon they could finish top. No, early April Fools. 18th, I haven't even put a rating on there. I can't see them finishing any higher than 18th. Matt Flynn and Tyler Brockman, both decent players, but not going to help them lift themselves off the bottom of the ladder. Adam Simpson has to go, have to get a new coach. I'm tipping Port by 72 with my Ollie's call that Harley Reid has 25 plus disposals. Last game of the round, Fremantle versus Brisbane at Optus Stadium, 6:50pm Sunday. Notable recruits, Oscar McDonald, Jeremy Sharp and Patrick Voss. Ladder projection, 8th to 14th. They're going to have a pretty average year. Bit of a rebuild after their surprise finals campaign 2 years ago. Brisbane, notable recruits, Tom Doty, Brandon Ryan. Ladder projection 1 to 6. They had a decent first game apart from good first half, and then their second half wasn't great. Lost by a point, unlucky in the end with their goal kicking. I'm going to go for the upset. This is my upset of the round. I'm tipping Fremantle by 11. It's at Optus. Lions will be a bit flat coming off a 1 point loss. Freo, they'll win. Get the job done. And my tip is Ollie's call Matthew Johnson gets 80 plus fantasy points. Thanks for watching Ollie's on the Ball. And I guess I'll see you next week. Bye.